We'll give it a few moments to let a couple people join on. Apparently premieres are now available for my channel. I'm not even sure what that is. What is this?
In this video, we'll give you an overview of YouTube Premiere, which is a feature that lets you and your viewers watch and experience your new video together. Here's how you can create a premiere of your own. You start by uploading a video just as you normally would. In the drop-down, select Schedule. Now select the video you want to upload. While the video is processing, toggle on Premiere. Then, pick a date and time for your premiere. This is when your fans will watch your video for the first time. Next, fill out your title and description. And don't forget to select the thumbnail. Once the video is done processing, hit Premiere. As soon as you do this, a shareable watch page is created. This watch page is where the video will eventually be.
Yeah, okay. So premieres are basically just a way to upload and schedule a recording to go live. No big deal. Okay, so I think we have one person on the stream. Please be sure to say hey. I want to make sure there's actually people here. Otherwise, we're just going to give it a couple more minutes. All right, I've waited long enough. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the stream. So today I am going to do some exploration of Figma. Figma is a UI UX prototyping software where you can actually create prototypes or mock-ups or whatever you want to call them, wireframes, to basically build out a user experience, a user interface, without actually having to do code. I actually use a program called Sketch, which is the Mac OS version of it. It works really well. Figma is supposed to be pretty dang close to how it is. In fact, Figma supports sketch files. I don't know if you can read that there, but there's a sketch icon. So it's pretty cool. Sketch is not available on Windows, so this is like my alternative because this is obviously a Windows platform. So if you've been watching my stream, you would have noticed that I've actually been doing some React TypeScript coding. Jumped the gun a little bit there. Yes and no. Like I definitely needed to do the foundation, so the foundation was always going to be needed. But I'm getting to a point now where I need to have a little bit more of a design before I can actually proceed forward. To do that, generally you could just code your way through it and make changes, a lot of changes, before you actually get to the final product. Or what you can do is you can actually create a wireframe using a program like Figma or Sketch to basically create that user experience ahead of time. It's akin to like basically doing like napkin drawings of what you want out of how the user interface looks like. This is also a very helpful tool for designers to basically express a design for a potential client or stakeholders, to basically get people to see and understand a little bit more about what the end product it needs to look like. It also elicits or solicits feedback from those stakeholders to say, okay, well, here's a design. Maybe they don't like the colors, maybe they don't like the icons, maybe they just don't like the general like how things work and look on the page. And so it's a very iterative, very interactive way of basically building a design around what your product's gonna look like. So again, if you have been, excuse me, if you've been watching my streams, what's going on here? Computer offline. Yeah, I don't believe that. All right, looks like it's loading now. Yeah, if you've been watching my streams, I've been doing the React stuff. So basically the project in this case is a scheduler type thing where I need to be able to have a view that gives a user a way of being able to create new venues, areas that could be visited, and then another view that basically uses those venues to build an itinerary. So itinerary is generally a venue and then a time So, you know, and you would basically build like a schedule of you need to be here at this time, then here at this time, then here at this time. And the goal of this is basically just to build that itinerary and then ship it off to a customer. So there are also more pages that are going to be involved with that, like a login page and then potentially a couple other settings page. But those are going to be like the main pages that we have to focus on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with just building a general design around some of the input boxes and then some of the buttons, because we know we're going to need that. I know how to do this in Sketch, but this is my first time using Figma, so I'm going to kind of fumble my way through this as I learn Figma and try to make parallels where I can with Sketch. So bear with me. This will be a learning experience, I think, for the both of us. So it looks like, just like Sketch, they have the concept of pages. Pages are a way of kind of collecting artboards. Artboards are basically, you can think of those as like the individual screens that you're trying to design. But pages is a group of artboards. So a good example of this would be, hey, you know what? We're going to create a page just for sign-in. In fact, that's not my, there we go. This is typically the way I do my naming convention. So within sign-in, we can then say, okay, we're going to create an artboard, and I'm using keyboard shortcuts. They look like they're the same as Sketch. By hitting A, it toggles the artboard screen or item or frame. It's weird. A. All right, so I guess in Figma it's called a frame, whereas in Sketch it's called an artboard. But you can see here on the side here, it gives you some options of some commonly used or commonly designed for platforms. They open up phone automatically. I am going to be mobile first in development of this program or this product, but I generally find it easier just to kind of throw it out there on a non-mobile platform like a desktop page, and then kind of tease it back to the mobile platform. So what we'll do is we'll open up desktop here. I generally go for the 1440 by 900 MacBook Pro. Gives you a pretty good size here. Now, because it does give you a prescriptive size of 1440 by 900, does not mean that this design can only stay within this bounds. Generally, width-wise, yes, you want to keep it this size. Height-wise, you don't necessarily have to keep it 900. You can actually make it bigger if the page is meant to scroll down. And that just gives you a way of kind of showing through the actual prototype, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later. What the prototype type is intended to act like when you have a scroll involved. So yeah, so let's start off with this sign-in page. We know we're gonna need a sign-in page. No better way to do it than just to jump in. So let's create a rectangle. What we'll do is we'll have a centered rectangle in the middle of the screen. Let's say it's gonna be 500 by 500. So what we'll do is 500 by 500. There we go. Bring it to the center. And you can kind of just see how easy it is to do this stuff. Real nice. What is this? Oh, radius. Okay, so like if I want to make it rounded, I can make it rounded. That's way too round for my liking. Generally I like to keep it between like 2 and 5 pixels rounding, but I'm not going to do it. Actually, the aesthetics in this particular case, there's an established design for this product I'm building, and it's very sharp corners, so we're going to stick with that. It's also very black and white and with accents of pink already kind of used, so we're going to stick with that. As far as we can try a couple different things here. We can try black with a transparency on top of white, or we can do a white transparency on black. Let's first try it with the black on white. So we're going to do black here, and we're going to change the opacity, which makes it a little bit more see-through. Say 50%, that's what it's going to look like. You really can't tell the difference here. It looks like it's just a gray box. It's not a big deal, and it's fine. But I think what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to flip it reverse, in that I'm going to take the frame that was created, change the intended background to black, take the rectangle and actually make it white. It still looks like gray. There's not going to be getting around that, I don't think. You know what, I think just to fit the general website, I'm going to go with white on, black on white. So let's click on the frame, let's bring it back to white. Okay, and then we'll make this guy black again. And maybe we won't do 50%, maybe we'll do like say 5. Yeah, okay, let's go with 75. All right, so we have a rectangle. This is the drop box, or backdrop, if you want to call it that. Generally on a website like this, you'll have like some kind of legal verbiage at the bottom of the screen or at the bottom of the box. So let's hit T for text, and let's create a area for text. Legal stuff. How do you do a copyright sign? I don't know. Well, we'll just go 2018. How about that? We'll say, yeah, we'll just keep it there. Now, obviously, this is not going to work very well because it's black on a darker contrast background. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make this white. Fill. There we go. Font-wise, we're going to keep it a consistent theme. I actually have preference with Montserrat. Let's see if they actually have it in here. Ooh, you guys will have to excuse me. I'm getting over a serious neck ache. Actually, I have a mid-grade, what do they call it, mid-grade strain of my rotary muscles. Whatever that means. Oh, here we go. Montserrat. Boom. Looks good. Regular. Let's do thin. Oh, that's way too thin. You can barely see it. There's a light. What's about light? Nah, it's still too thin-ish. All right, for this one, we'll actually keep it just plain regular. Let's meet him. Yeah, let's keep it regular. Size-wise, 12 is way too small. Let's go with 15. Yeah, it's a little bit more legible. Line height, I generally recommend setting a line height on this type of stuff. So while I do have this box size to whatever I had sized it for, the line height basically controls basically the height of where the text is going to fill. And as you start adding new lines of text, it respects that line height as you go along. You can also use that as like almost like a cheat to basically, I think I mentioned this in my previous video, a cheat to basically make it, when you have like a band or like a menu at the top, to make it so it fills the height of that box. For this particular case, 15, we're gonna do a line height. Is this line height? No. Where's line height? There it is, 100%. Why do they do it like that? Can I do it pixels? 20 pixels? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Where's auto? I have this thing for auto. Layer. So in Sketch, there's a way to like set a height of a text box, but then there's also like what they call an auto button. And that auto button will make it respect like the line height and then the text width. I don't know if I see that here. What is this? Oh, here we go. Fixed, auto resize, boom. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I want, is width. So if I type in here, it's probably gonna resize itself based off the width. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Wait a second. So let's actually zoom in on this guy and make sure that, okay. Yeah, it looks like it's doing its thing correctly. Except I don't think I like 20. Let's try to see if we can bump it up to 24. It's gonna be negligible, I think. Actually, no, it's a little bit better. All right, so in this case, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the line height be middle. Okay, so middle. We're gonna add some margins to this, so let's see, there we go. So here I'm doing some red lines to determine what the distance is. Like here, it's 23 pixels between the edge of this box to the edge of this text, and 11, you can't really see that, but it's 11 pixels from the bottom of where the line height is for this text box to the bottom of this backdrop here. 23 and 11 are really, they're nonsensical, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make it, let's say 20, we'll say 20 by 20. How about that? All right, so let's zoom out here. How's that look? Looks decent. You know what? I think I'm actually gonna get some fake legal stuff in here. So what am I gonna do? Let's go to copyright website example. Boo. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's use apples. How about that? So we'll pop that there. but we're gonna replace that with MMD, which is the code name for this. All rights reserved. And generally what you do is when you have legalese like this, you have a privacy policy in terms of conditions. And for this case, I'm going to just put privacy policy. Now, let's talk about accents for a second. Privacy policy is actually meant to be a link. And generally a link, you're going to have to give a little bit more focus or a little bit more of a stylistic change so that people know that it's actually something in action. Again, I'm going to I'm going to grab the pink color that's currently being used as part of the design for the main website. Why does it do this? Website requests always fail once for me. I don't know why. Okay, so let's get the eyedropper. Boop, boop. There it is. Let's see if we can actually just highlight this portion here and set the color just for that alone. Yes, I can. Okay. Could be a little bit more. It could be a little bit more contrast. Like it might be a little bit hard to read that, especially on your guys' screen. But if I were to hit play here, let's see if it actually loads up like I'd expect. This is a prototype, by the way, so this is basically showing you like an example of what it would look like if it was actually being used. It's a little bit more legible here, so I think we're okay. We'll roll with this for the time being. Hey, let's back out of there. There we go. Let's also do one more thing, and actually let's make this thing 20 pixels away from here. 2 pixels with +2. Okay. Yeah, so I'm using mathematics to kind of get some fine tuning in there. Always helpful. All right. Now that I have a, pretty much like a 20 by 20 by 20, I can also then say, okay, cool, I want the text to be centered. Starting to look a little bit nicer here. Excuse me. All right, so we need a couple of boxes here. We need to have some input boxes for a user to be able to punch stuff in. If I were to go strictly based off of the form or the style that currently exists on the website, it's pretty standard stuff. Like it's not even that styled up different from other stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start off and see how well that works. We'll do a rectangle, create a box, and I think for this particular case, like let's see how big this is. So I'm checking the size of the stuff right now. Computed. Okay, this is horrible. All right, so it's like 45 pixels. Yeah, it's like 45 pixels by what? Doesn't matter. 45 pixels. So let's get 45 pixels in here. Bloop. So that's how tall. Oops, gosh darn it. That's how tall the input forms are. We're gonna respect that same 20 pixel distance between the edge here. We might even make it a little bit more. I don't know yet, but yeah, I'll start with 20. We can make it full width here, so it's like 20 by 20. Like that. That looks a little strange to me, so I'm actually gonna bring it back some to maybe right there. Yeah, and you know what? I think I am going to. I don't want to do this. Let's start off center actually. All right, so there's our input box. Color-wise, again, going by the actual style that already exists today, this is the color for which it exists. Yeah, okay, we can make that work, I think. There's also a an effect. I think it's like a drop shadow, inner shadow. There we go. Yeah, it looks a lot sharper than that actually. So blur to 2, 1. All right, actually let's make that 3, and then bring that Y down to 2. Yeah, it looks close. Looks close to that. Okay, we'll go with that. Next, we need a label. So this box here doesn't really tell a user what its purpose is. So let's go ahead and add a, excuse me, a label to the top of this to basically give this field some meaning. To do that, we're gonna hit T to add some text, create just a random text box, and then we know this is gonna be a username. Okay, so let's make this left justified. Size-wise, it always should be a little bit bigger than this, and now I'm starting to think that this is probably a little too big. It is legally, so let's try 13. That feels a little bit better. Let's see, what do we do to our margins here? Nothing really. Okay. Oh, because you know what? I didn't change the line height, so that's expected. Since we're bringing it down to 13, let's bring it down to 20, see what that looks like. Bring this down to 2. Alright, let's go with that. This one can be 15. Should it be Montserrat? Let's try Lotto. I like Lotto. Yeah, okay, let's go with Lotto and see how well that works. Let's make this one also white as far as color goes. Line height wise, 15, 24 seems a little much in this particular case. Actually, let's first make sure that we're actually auto sizing this. So click this guy here, base it off width. Yeah, so there is a little bit more of a margin here than we needed. So you can see that here, 5 pixels. So let's bring it down 5 pixels. Line it up like that. Yeah, it's a little too close now. Alright, so let's bring it up a couple pixels. We're just pixel shifting right now. Okay, cool. So now we have a field for username. That's pretty rad. What also helps with design sometimes is to also kind of think about the things that are not going to show up immediately, but that will eventually be there if needed. A good use case for this is, like, let's say somebody's filling in this form, they hit the sign in button, but they didn't put in the username. There's going to be an error that's going to be associated with that, and so you want to think about those types of things and then just show an error as appropriate. So what we'll do is we're going to create a sub-label. So the username is the label for the field, tells the user what the purpose of the field is, but to be informative about any errors that may happen, let's add a sub-label to this. I think as far as size goes, this can match the 15 by 24 pixels. Oops, I lost my text. Oh, I didn't even create it. Okay. Shoop. There we go. So this one will be, let's say, some random error. Won't be random in actuality, but you get the idea. Let's make this one red. Let's fix the height. There we go. This one, I think I'd be okay with bringing this one closer to the box. Yeah. There we go. So that's how it would look. Now, because all of these 3 items here are going to be related to kind of the username field, what I generally like to do is kind of group them together. And so if you look right here, this is all the elements that we have here. So the box itself, the copyright information, the input box, the username field, the sub-label. It's kind of just out there. And you can imagine, like, if the more fields I add to this, the more larger this list is going to be, and it's going to be the harder it's going to be to find individual elements. So by highlighting all 3 of these items, like you see here, and then doing Control-G, you can group them together and basically make it one unit like this. And you can still access them by dropping down the group, and you can see the individual elements here. But this makes it a little bit easier to kind of find this. So what we'll do, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do static field. Get my naming convention going. Static field. It's called static field. Static field. Yeah. You're probably wondering why I didn't call it username field. Well, that's because I'm going to show you actually now, and see if Figma supports this, show you how to create what we call symbols. Do they call them symbols? Components, I guess, here. So Figma calls them components. A component is basically a way to define a group of elements like this, and then create basically a repeatable component that you can then call back anytime. And instead of having to create these 3 elements every single time you want to create a new field, you can create one component with those 3 elements and then just call that component whenever you want to create a new instance of these 3 items. So right click here, create component. Okay, is that it? Did I do it? Really? Still got those items there. Come over here. Yeah, okay, we've got a static field now. Cool. Not quite what I was expecting. I was hoping that it would kind of bundle it all together. because the way you want it is you want this one thing to be a component, and then any changes you make to the component itself would reflect to all items. So let's actually test that. So let's bring this here. Let's add another component here. Can I just simply drag drop? I can. Sweet. Okay, let's have this butt up against each other, and then we'll bring this down a couple feet, couple 10-ish. So it's like 20, 30. Bring it up. Okay. Yeah, okay, we can make that work. Okay, so now if I want to change, generally the way it works is go to master component instance. So in Sketch, you have a way of being able to change the value of certain components here, but it looks like what is this? I'm not sure why this one is like a different icon from this one. Oh, because this is the master, I'm guessing. So what happens if I delete this one? Nothing. Oh, I just deleted it. Alright, let's undo that. There we go. Probably what needs to happen here is I need to actually create this on a different page just for masters. Okay, whatever. We'll go with this. Let's change the name of this one to password. So then what happens then if I change, let's say I shift this. Okay, cool, it does. So you can see here, like I'm shifting the master's X coordinate by 10 pixels, and it's doing the same thing to the password because it is. Presumably I can come over here and say, okay, well for this one, oh, it doesn't do anything here, you see that? Okay, so I can't change this if I want to. I guess this is only available so that I can actually change the value of it and nothing else really. What happens if I change the font? Yeah, I can. Don't know why I'd want to, but I can. Okay, random error. We'll just make this blank, I guess. Okay, I can do that. I can totally do that. All right, cool. And okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this master component to a different page. In fact, I'm actually going to create a new page called components. I'm surprised it didn't do it itself. So we'll cut this guy. I'll create a new frame. Placed it there, I guess. So do I still have it as my list? Yes, I do. Okay. So if we go back to sign in, we still have our password here. I should technically be able to come back over here, drag drop this guy, bring it back up a couple, so it's username still, make this one a couple spaces like that. There you go. Okay, so I think that's pretty much what we're looking for, right? We need a button, right? Because you're not going to be able to just type in stuff and it just magically works. So let's get a button in here. How do they have their buttons? Okay, so it's a flat color. All right, so the way they have it is it's actually a dark color. That's not gonna work here, right? Because we already have a dark background. So let's just get the button on there and then we'll kind of work with it. Rectangle, oops, rectangle, boom. How tall are these buttons? Let's take a look. Don't wanna do that. 45. There's a trend here, isn't there? Okay. All right, so color-wise, what's the color of this guy? Some oddball color. All right, maybe we can make that one work actually, because it is a darker color. Not ideal, but hey, whatever. It works. All right, so we'll bring this one down a couple. Yeah, there we go. So you can see here that even though the sub label is not being displayed, it's still kind of taking up the space, which is handy. All right, so let's add some text to this. So T, go back over here. T, bring this over here. Text-wise, sign in. Let's make this white. Cool. 15, 15, 10. Oh, boomer. Alright, so I think in this particular case I'm going to reduce it by 1 pixel for the line height to 23, which will give me, excuse me, actually I'm going to bring it back up to 24, because what I didn't do yet is base this off, or change the auto setting. So auto size the height, auto size the width. What? 24, right? No, that's right, actually. Okay, so let's bring this back down to 23 then and see what that gives us. Alright, so here, cool. So now we can do this by 11. I don't like that odd number, so I'm actually going to bump it up from 25, actually. So we can have 10, 10. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's actually bring this over here so that we can do 15. So it's -3 on the width. -3. There we go. So now it should be 15, 10, 15, 10. Yep. 15, 10, 15, 10. Cool. Let's center this. There we go. Alright, another thing. So constraints. So constraints are also a way of kind of anchoring an element within another parent element. So first and foremost, let's actually create a group for this button. There we go. Call this button primary. I'll explain why later. Okay, so as far as constraints go, let's click on just the text here, and let's say we're going to anchor it like so. What? Really? What? I mean, it works, right? Like, you see there, it kind of anchored it. Not really. Like, it's supposed to maintain 15. So let's undo that. Yeah, let's undo that. Width-wise, no. It should be as like this. How do I do this? Oh, I guess I'm gonna do left and right. Okay, there we go. Does that work? No, because you can see it's already not respecting that. Yeah, okay. Okay, scale. There's some new settings here. This Sketch doesn't have it set up like that. It's actually pretty straightforward in Sketch. Yeah, still. We don't want to scale, that's the thing. So scale's not it. Centers left and right. Yeah, this middle plus thing's something that is not there. So I'm gonna actually get rid of this. I can't. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens when we resize this. So still it looks like it's not respecting the fact that I want 15. Right. Oh, okay, so it's okay. I'm not sure what to do about this one. Because it's just not wanting to play ball here. Good, let's come back to this and update the master later. In fact, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so we'll do left and right for the time being, and then we'll also say top and bottom. Oops. Top and bottom as well. Okay, so at least it pulls it there, but you can see like what happens is it new lines this. Not really awesome. Let's see, can we make it cut off text regular? I'm not sure what this is. Default figure. Auto resize. What is all of this? I'm not familiar with that at all. Okay. Alright. Oh, I think if I wanted to cut off, I'd have to do some kind of masking to this. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, so we got that there. Let's actually go ahead and, while we're here, let's go ahead and just create a component from it. What are the options I have here? Use mask, outline stroke, move to page. Here we go. Okay, so let's create, actually let's just move it to components. No, let's create component. Now let's move it. There we go. There we go. Okay, so it's a button there. We're gonna organize that later. So let's now add this component in. Boop. There we go. And like we did before, just drop it down 20 pixels. There we go. So now we got all the good fixings. So what happens when the user, well, this website's actually going to be using SSL, so actually username and password is not going to make sense. We still needed the fields, but we're not going to need this per se. That's fine. So in this particular case, let's drop these out of here. Boom, boom, gone. Let's get some text going. Text. Let's get some going. To sign in, click the sign in button below and and log into WordPress using your credentials. Let's make this white. Wow. Let's make this larger text. So instead of 15, let's actually bump it up to 18. No, let's bump it up to 24. Yeah, let's do 24, but then let's increase the line height here to what, 35? Yeah, that feels good. All right, let's resize this. Ooh. Okay. So let's bring this over here. Resize this guy. 2020. Cool. I don't like this justified stuff, so let's say do this. Yeah. This feels a little too much. 68. All right, so let's actually pop it over a couple more. All right, take this width down to from 40 pixels, so minus 40. Boom. You can see now it should be 40, 40, 40. Yep. Okay. Okay. There's really not a need for this box to be as big as it is anymore, so I don't know what to do. Maybe we just leave it. Whoa. Let's see. You know what? For this size, actually, we could probably go with a light. Yeah, that looks okay, actually. So we'll go with that. We'll see what it looks like. Not Lotto, but Montserrat. Nah, you know what? I'll leave it. I'll leave that. So 40. Actually, I'm gonna drop it down a little bit more. Yeah. And then, you know what? Let's bring this up closer. Say 45. Bring it to the edge here. Oops. There we go, 40. And actually, excuse me. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit more. Let's bring it close-ish, like right there. That's good. I'm actually gonna bring this top down by 100. It's not really a good way to do the inverse of that, so okay. No, don't do that. Hey, look at that, 60 around the nose. Okay, so there we go. So we got the text, we got the button, we got some more text, we got the backdrop. I'm actually gonna bundle these together into a group. Call this one the, what do you want to call it? The sign-in box. Sure. Make this centered again. Oh, you know what? I can click on this stuff, can't I? So I want to put it over there, could. The alignment. Boom, and then boom. Would put it center. See that? Look at that. That's pretty awesome. Okay. I feel pretty good about this. I'm gonna rename this though. This one I'm not gonna actually do my stuff. Okay, so let's click the secondary page. When you do a sign in, you're gonna do a flow that takes you through OAuth to sign into WordPress. For the sake of this product, we don't really need to worry about that because the OAuth is actually the owner of WordPress, and so we just know that it works. The result of that though is basically you're gonna get signed in and then you're gonna get logged into the application itself. So now that we have a sign in, we can just move on through. I do believe there was actually another, like an interstitial page that basically says, hey, yeah, you're logged in, just wait for a second while we prime your session. So let's go ahead and create that, actually. So for that, we'll zoom out a little bit here, scroll this way, do a frame, do another pro. Let's bring this one close to here. Yeah, about there, it's fine. All right. All right, so I think for this, I'm just gonna copy this guy here. Let's bring this down here. And then we'll paste it here. Already centered, beautiful. And because we don't need the sign in anymore, technically we don't even need the, excuse me. We don't even need the legal verbiage anymore. We could just simply have a message, I think. So let's go ahead and drop those out. And then we'll just have just the message. The message will be successfully signed in. Please wait while we start the session. Not sure why it was resizing and stuff like that. That was weird. Oh, because it did. Yeah, we want top like that. Okay. All right, let's make that 60 again. Yeah. Fortunately, it's gonna have this gap here. We could probably fill it in with some kind of like tooltip or some kind of tip or something like that, or like some animation as it's doing like a sign in. That might be cool, but we'll worry about that later. Yeah. Okay, moving on. I wonder if I can click on this box. Hit H. What does H do? Nothing. There's a way to actually set up like actual like hot points or hotspot. Hotspot is a way of basically making it so you can say on the prototype, when you click on this guy, it takes you to over here. Oh, here we go, prototype. Interaction, here we go. Oh, sweet, okay. Yeah, here we go. Let's actually change the name of this real quick. Signed in message. Oops. Signed in message. There you go. Overflow behavior. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm messing it all up. Oh, I see, okay. So let's click on this guy here. Let's go to prototype, interaction on, click, destination, signed in message. So you can see it's gonna take us over here. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Instant behavior, dissolve, move, push, do instant, whatever. There's no need to get fancy here. What? Oh, I think it's an example. So if I do dissolve, yeah, there you go. Ah, this is dumb. I don't need this. What? Nah, we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna do instant. Yeah. Okay, so let's test that. So we hit the play button here. Hey, check it out. We got sign in. You click sign in. Boop. Successfully signed in. Please wait while we start your session. So I don't know if there's going to be a way to like have it so we can have like a timer in here, and like after like 2 seconds it just takes you to the next thing with Jobber. So let's actually take a look at that. Let's see if we can do something like that. Let's actually bring it here with prototype interaction on hover and mouse, whatever. After delay, perfect. Look at that. Now I think that's something that Sketch does not have, so that's kind of cool. All right, so this one will say 2 seconds. So 200 or 2,000 milliseconds. Destination, we'll actually have it so that, well, it's not gonna be part of the sign-in flow, right? So we'll create a new page. Oh boy. What do we want to call this? Call it just app, because this is gonna contain a whole mess of things. Inside here, we'll create a new artboard. We'll do MacBook Pro again. Now we'll just put some text like in. All right, let's go back over here. So let's say we go back to send message after 2,000 milliseconds. We go to what? Oh, I can't. Bummer. So I can't make it go to another page, which means that I don't have to consolidate it all. So we'll just delete this page. And we'll just rename this page to what? Actually, we'll call it non-mobile. We'll separate the mobile and non-mobile stuff. All right, so new frame, this guy. We'll put this one here. Text. I'm in. Okay, sign in message. Let's bring this guy down. Call it dashboard, actually. Okay, so yeah, so click here, 2,000 milliseconds, dashboard. Yep, instant, preserve scroll. All right, let's try that out. So hit play, sign in, boom, look at that. There really should be some kind of like, hey, after 2 seconds something's gonna happen, just to let the user know. There'll be something I know. Okay, cool. So that's actually kind of neat. All right, so now we're in. It's also starting to occur to me that we probably should create some design language around the actual text itself. So here we have one style. Here we have another style. This is technically its own style. So I think we're going to do that. So how do I do that? Let's go to design here. Textiles, here we go. Create a text style to save and reuse these properties. Publish to the library to use the styles across all your files. For all my files? I mean, it's cool, but it's not that cool. No, that's definitely not what I want. I did see a library button here somewhere. Now I can't remember where I saw it. Was it in here? Perhaps? I like this better. Is this view settings? No. No. Okay, so I'm not sure where. Alright. F it. We're gonna just create a text style here. So call this one large text light. Yeah, light. Is it the only properties I want? Large text light? Sure, why not? We'll go with that. Okay, let's match this up. So we'll select this guy here. Boop. In that particular case, it's already the same. So here we go, we have a variance. So in this particular case, we will do this. However, why didn't it update here? Fill. Nope, don't do that. What? Why didn't you do that? You silly goose. I was expecting it to actually save the color of the text too, but it didn't. So whatever, man. At least it's matching large text. Probably shouldn't have called it light now. What's this? Oh, hiding, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Alright, then we have this guy here, which is this style text. I guess it just saves this portion here. So, textiles, add this one here. This one will be small text. Create, boop. We should do this here and let's rename. Oop. Rename this guy so I'm not gonna get confused. Yeah, I can't change the color. Alright, there we go. So now if I click on this, yep, large text, small text. This is medium text. This is 13, right? Yeah, okay, so we'll make this guy be medium text. Medium text. Oh, can't reorder it. Darn it. Okay. Now, I wonder for colors, like I could actually do something here. So if I do this, fill, I don't think there is. Oh, there's color styles. Cool. Okay. Let's do color styles then. Why not? Now, generally what I've seen other people do is actually give names to the colors. It's white. Like, it's like literally, no, shite, white. Okay. And this guy here, we'll just create a text style for this guy here. This one, I don't know, a flamingo? Yeah, let's call it that. Flamingo. Now if I, you know, click on, let's say, this guy here, say, oh, Phil, yeah, I want to do flamingo, or white. Just makes it easier to find this stuff. Then black, like this right here. This is not really black, so this is some other color. So we can actually give this one its own kind of name too. Let's go with obsidian. I think that's how you spell it. And this will technically be obsidian. We're gonna actually change the opacity. So we'll select the obsidian and change it back to 75. So do that, and then, oh, I can't do that. Break. So that's the obsidian color. Yeah, that's kind of how it has to be. Okay, so then that's what we'll have to do. Like, we'll just have to do this, and then we'll create a style from this. What is this? Why don't you give me tooltips, man? Oh, it's just the hidden. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so we'll just create a new style for this guy just alone. Obsidian 75. Let's go. Let's do that. Obsidian 75. There. So now you can see, like, okay, there's a 75% opacity here, and when it's just the name, it means it's 100%. Sure. Why not? Okay. How are you guys feeling about this? I feel pretty good. Alright, so you sign in, and I've been playing around with this a lot. Now that you sign in, now we need some concepts for menus, and I think for menu, that's gonna be a big thing. I think for this, I'm just gonna stick to a left-hand menu. People generally like to put like headers on top of the stuff. And that may make sense for mobile, but for non-mobile, like, there's no reason to show like a top. Yeah, because then I can also then keep it consistent. I can have one menu, whether it's on non-mobile for the left-hand side or mobile, and it's always at the top that, you know, opens up. All right, so let's do that. So let's zoom in on this guy here. Let's get rid of the I'm in text. Let's create two forms for this guy. Yeah, so it's rectangle, this guy. Let's do 240. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. And before I get too far, like I should probably think about doing like layouts on this. I had done this like the other night. Now I can't remember how to do this. Layout grids? Yeah, I think that was it. Layout grids. Now what? Oh my gosh. Neck is killing me. Dying. I'm dying, guys. There we go. Maybe stroke effects, export. Layout grid. Yes, yes. Not grid. Columns. Yes. Here we go. Alright, so for this, let's do this typical 12. Yes, okay. Now I'm starting to remember now. Gutter 20. Yeah, that's fine, actually. Why can't I do this? Oh, stretch. Center. There we go. Okay. Width 10? No. No, 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 no. 200? Ooh, too big. 100? Nope. Not that one either. 50? Eh. Yeah, I don't feel right. 80? Yeah, let's do 80. Kind of like 80. Alright, and then looks like we can create a style. Yes, we can create a style. Cool. Alright, I like that. So it's red. It's a little... This section... Okay, no, did I change this to 10? Yeah, I must have changed it to 10. Let's see what it looks like in 5, because I feel like it's a little dark. Yeah, let's go like that, because I don't want it to interfere with my visual. I think I want to be able to like work with this. Okay, cool. So you can see here, like the grid kind of overlaps on the menu here. The way I'm going to have the menu, it's actually not going to always be open like that. And in fact, it's going to be compressed down into like a smaller form when a user's not hovered over it. When the user is hovered over it, you'll see that it'll actually expand out and over the top of the content. We want that just to kind of keep everything kind of centered and kind of have like this floating effect over the top of it. Wondering if we should also offset this so that whatever the menu size is going to be, it's centered with the collapsed version of this menu in mind. Or if I'm just overthinking this. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Can I even set an offset? Yes, I can. Crapple. Okay, so what the hell? What the hell? Wish it would tell me if when I center this, but the actual center is going to be. Alright, we'll hold on doing this too much. But what I will do is I will save this. So let's save this grid style. Default. Just call it default because we're only going to have one. Actually, we probably will have, you know what, let me rename this. Non-mobile. Because we're going to have a different one for mobile. Okay. Sweet. Done. Okay. Color, that's not gonna be the color. Let's actually make this not Obsidian 75, but just Obsidian. See what that looks like. Boop. So that's what it's gonna look like. I think what would be nice is to have like a, I don't know if I'll be able to pull like a profile picture out, but let's see. I think I remember seeing like a profile picture being something here. Place image. There's a really cool way of doing this. Add your comments. Maybe not. Okay. Whatever. But we will add an image. Let me find a cool image. Cool profile picture. Image. You know what I should do? If I'm gonna use Google, I need to make sure that I'm not getting something that let's see, that's copywritten. Let's see, labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification. let's do this. Yeah, label for read. Yeah, okay. Okay. Huh, what's a good picture? Spent way too long looking at these pictures. You know what? Let's pick. God, give me something good. Give me something good. Yeah, we're gonna go with this guy. What? Why'd you do that? No, 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 stop, stop, stop. Grab this, kind of pull this over. Why won't it just let me? Copy image. No, yeah, copy image. Whoa, that was not what I intended. Paste. There we go, okay. Obviously this is too big for a, what you call it, profile picture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a rectangle. We'll make this one, what was it, 100 by 100? That actually seemed like it was decent. So 100 by 100. We're gonna constrain the aspect ratio. Yeah, okay. I think even that's too big. So what we'll do is we'll bring down the width to 60. Yeah, we'll do 60. Which means that this guy needs to streaked out too. So constrain this. Let's see, yeah, let's make the height 60. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm also going to, let me bring this guy closer here actually. So we're going to actually use the masking capabilities here. First off, I'm going to make this completely circle. We're going to bring this guy over the top of this, like that. What the hell is that image? Oh, there it is. We're going to click these two, and I think if I just hit mask. Oh, that's kind of cool, but that's not what I wanted. I think I have to actually flip it around so that the image is on top like this. Now if I do masking, there we go. I think though for this rectangle we should probably give it a background. Not sure why I didn't have a background to begin with. Fill. Yeah, the fill's not affecting it. Shape outlines. Nope. Nope. That definitely ain't it. Maybe if I add another rectangle in here. Rectangle. Bloop. Put it in between this guy here. Yeah, okay, there we go. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. So let's do 60 by 60. Constrain that. And then we're going to drag this guy around till we get centered, like so. And we'll make that background white. Actually, let me just choose white. There we go. Cool, look at that. You got a profile picture. Now let's rename it to profile picture. Alright, straight thuggish. Love it. Alright, so zoom out a little bit, get some perspective here. Yeah, it's not gonna go there. We're gonna put it right there. Bring this up to 32, 32. Now let's bring it to 20. Yeah, okay, that works. For now. Might change it later. Alright, so my profile picture. Let's add some text in here to basically say, hey, this is who I am. Hello, Eric. Make this white. And then we're going to then say, okay, cool, let's change the text. Where is it? There you go. Oops. Crap. Make this one medium text. Yeah. Works for me. Bring this down to 10. Oh, you see that? No, there you go. Okay. Let's make sure everything's aligned okay. It's a little strange though, that like... Okay, I can't control like the alignment even. That's really strange. I feel like that should be part of this. I don't know if I like that. Alright, so I'm gonna leave this like this. I think in the future, like if I ever have like user settings that I want to set with this application, I'll probably have some action links here that will say like, hey, user settings or something like that. In fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and just add that in right now. Let's do like an edit profile. All right, we'll make this one small text. We'll make the color of this guy flamenco. I thought I just did small text. Not sure why it's still pretty large. Oh, maybe it is small. Okay, whatever. guy to about 5 pixels. Let me just put this one up against. Yeah, this is not small enough, I don't think. I think we need an extra small. Hopefully I'm not making this too small. Alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and edit this text. It's 13, 10. Yeah, I'll go 10. I don't want to go any smaller than that though. Line height wise, we should make this guy 18. Okay, it's already butt up against. Still centered. Let's create a new text for this. Extra small text. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so as you probably guessed it, this is where the different menu items are going to be in here. So you can imagine, like, you know, we have some text here. Maybe this first one is, you know, venue, I don't know, venue registry. It's a horrible name. We'll change it later. This one, we can probably make this size, well, first off, color-wise, we need to make it white. Actually, well, we should make it Flamingo. Because anything that's going to actually be an action link or something that's going to take us elsewhere should be an accented color. Maybe what we'll do is we'll add an icon to go alongside with it and then have some sort of animation when you hover over it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll make it white because this is going to be too much flamingo of a place if we do it like that. Size-wise, large, too big, medium. Yeah, that's fine. All right, bring this down, I guess. There you go. For now, we'll just put it center. We're gonna change this later. Maybe what we also do is we actually make it so it's all uppercase. Can I do that here? Or do I have to break this? Yeah, I do. Okay. Bummer. Yeah. Okay, so let's create a new style of this, I guess. Stupid. Medium, upper text. Okay, so we have venue registry. We're gonna have another one in here called what? This one's gonna be planner. Actually, itinerary planner. Planner. There you go. This is not how it's gonna look. Like, I'm gonna have some better rationale to this. Okay. Great. Logging out. I'm not sure if I want to put it up here because even though it makes sense to kind of put it up here, I'll probably put it at the bottom here so that somebody that's trying to hit the edit profile doesn't accidentally click the log out. And I'll actually make it a little bit smaller of text too. So let's bring this guy down here. Sign out. Or maybe that size is fine. I don't know, but let's change this to just medium text. And then we'll kind of just put it to the side here. Not sure if I like that. It's an element we're gonna have to resize anyways, or redo anywhere. Anyways, okay, cool. So we know we need a venue registry. We know we need a itinerary planner. I'm trying to think of other kind of views that we're gonna need for this. Those are two that kind of jumping out at me, and I think that's. I'm gonna stick to this. This here. I think we're gonna stop here actually. So, you know, now that we have some styles going on and we have a couple screens in here, I think the next steps are gonna be to basically build, you know, these menu items so that they actually have icons so that when it's in collapse mode, it's a little bit easier to identify which each of these are. So that way a user can just kind of click over here quickly and just click on the menu item and then get taken to wherever they need to go. Same thing with, well, sign out, I think I'm just going to have only where you expand it out. Yeah, so we need icons, and then we need to have these linked to other pages. And we need to have the design what this looks like when it's in a collapsed mode. Yeah, okay. That's what we're going to do next round. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream here. I hope you guys found this interesting, valuable, whatever. I sure did, because again, like, I have not played with Figma myself. So this is kind of like my first real dive into this to kind of figure out how to use this application to do what I need to. Cool thing about it is that, you know, I can do pretty much what I need to do, kind of like what I do with Sketch, plus a little bit more, and that I can actually do the hot spotting, like the actual present, I guess is what they call it. So signing in and then having it so it takes me into the, you know, the actual view here. That's kind of handy. And then, you know, I think I can actually just show this off too. Like, I think they give me a link from this. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. Restart to share with people. So yeah, do comments as well. Alright guys, well thank you very much for tuning in the stream. If you found this valuable, if you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Be sure to leave comments of, you know, what you would like to see more of or less of. Also remember to hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit the little bell icon to get notifications whenever I go live again or whenever I upload new content. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Thank you.